Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Diver Debrief, your weekly plunge into the world of scuba. And this week, for episode 4, it's tool time. We're going to be talking about scuba diving equipment. And as always, we are brought to you by Waterfront Diving Center. Train, equip, explore. Vermont's diving headquarters. And now it's time for Diver Debrief. It's your host, Philip Peterson, your favorite scuba diving podcast, Diver Debrief, your weekly plunge into the world of scuba. And this week for episode 4, it's tool time. We're going to be talking about scuba diving equipment. And to my right is the amazing, extraordinary, fantastic instructor scuba extraordinaire, Sheila Cooley.
Hey, divers.
And just so happens that we got back from an equipment expo in Secaucus, New Jersey, beneath the sea.
Yeah, it was such a great trip. Learned so much. Saw all the new and fascinating things going on and got to see all the new equipment.
And I got to meet Jean-Michel Cousteau. Oh my gosh, I was starstruck. I'm not going to lie. And I don't usually get starstruck. There was the International Film Festival. We got to see the equipment. There were workshops. I even got to meet a couple of people that dove in Cuba. And there's a husband-wife photography team. And they actually are going to let us interview them in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good interviews that came out from the show as well. We talked to folks about what they're doing, what equipment they have. So I'm really excited to share that with our listeners as well.
Yeah, we have equipment interviews. We have interviews with famous divers, all sorts of awesome stuff. And this week we're going to share an interview from a gentleman by the name of Ross, and he works for Aqualung, and he's got all sorts of cool equipment that he's going to talk to us about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Aqualung's been a leader in dive equipment for years. So why not start with them?
That sounds pretty good. But right now I'm feeling like I want to listen to some 80s music, and I'm feeling like I want to hear Fine Young Cannibals.
Let's do it. Back. She drives me crazy. I love that song. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I said I wasn't going to do it, and then I said I was going to do it, and then I couldn't help myself.
It's a great song. This is kind of like, if you haven't been able to tell yet, I kind of try to go with a musical theme each week. And so anyways, this week is 80s. Oh, totally. Yeah,
retro, baby.
You got it. So, all right, we're talking about tool time, scuba gear, what to get, when to get it. And for our diving fundamentals segment, I guess my question is, and this is true, I almost have my open water certification, and I'm hoping to get kitted out. You know, get the gear. I'm going to go scuba diving. I got this new license to scuba dive. What equipment do I need? And then maybe we'll talk about the cost afterwards. But I mean, what's the first few things that I should be picking up?
Definitely we recommend that all divers have at least mask, fin, snorkel, and booties. That's a great place to start.
Right on.
It's also the same equipment you need for snorkeling, so you get 2 for 1, which is really fantastic.
And I will tell you, like, I did get a mask, and I know, like, for the class that I'm taking, there are masks that Waterfront Diving Center provides, which are great. They're totally adequate masks, no problem. But once you get a mask and you figure out what you like and you get it fitted to your head, you're like, whoa, this is mine. It's like a pair of shoes. Like, it fits well. This works for me. And then I actually forgot I forgot my mask last week, and I had to use one of the rentals, and I was like, oh man, this is awful. It was the worst.
Yeah, you don't know what you're missing until you get it, and then it's...
I know, and then it's gone. It's like, wait a second, I forgot my
Ignorance is
mask.
bliss.
Oh man. I almost said goggles. Not goggles. It's a mask. Okay, so mask, fin, snorkels, and how much is that going to cost? How much is that going to run me?
I mean, masks really range in price from anywhere from about $30 up to $90, can be even more than that. And the snorkel, usually around $25 to $30. So you could get a mask and snorkel for under $100 and really high quality, safe, tempered glass, silicone skirt,
So you don't want
double
just like
skirted.
the plastic junk that you can pick up at any old store.
Right, you don't want that, and actually you can't dive with it if it's just a plastic on the for the lens.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say we're talking about scuba masks, and it is one of the most important pieces of scuba gear. How do I pick the right one? How do I know, like, all right, this is the one for me?
Yeah, and I know this is probably something we're going to get to later, but it's really important that you try on your mask. You can try it on without the strap. Put it against your face, breathe in through your nose. You shouldn't hear any air coming in as you're inhaling. And while you're inhaling, you should be able to look down at the floor and the mask should stay sealed onto your face. That's to say that if you try to buy something online, you may get an ill-fitting mask. And the fit is really the most important, fit and comfort.
So this is something where you want to go to a dive shop and check it out.
Yeah, if possible, that's definitely what I recommend.
One thing I did notice with some of the students in the class is the hair. So, getting the right seal is kind of difficult if you have hair coming between you and the skirt.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got long hair and it's coming down into the skirt on the sides or on the top, you want to make sure your good dive buddy can let you know to get that out of the way.
Good dive buddy.
And for men that've got facial hair, they do make a thing called mask seal, and that will you can put that on there to kind of improve the seal along the bottom of the skirt.
Right on. So what if I wear glasses? And now I got this mask on, and I need to, and not just, I just have glasses to read, but I need glasses to see.
Sure, yeah. Definitely common problem and can be solved pretty easily. You can wear contacts. If you don't wear contacts, you can get a prescription mask. The cost does go up. It's usually around $200, $250, depending if you need.
That's actually less expensive than a real pair of glasses.
Yeah, and you just need to wear your mask to work.
All the time. Just walk around with your scuba mask on. You look pretty rad.
And you can even get bifocals, which can help those that need to read their gauges when they're scuba diving.
Okay, so, the past couple of years there's been the phenomenon of the mustache. And I've had friends before call the mustache the crustache. But what if I'm in love with my mustache, right?
You can leave it. Just use the mask seal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it will still seal over my...
Yeah, you might get a little bit more water than you normally, but as long as you know how to clear your mask, which you learn in your open water course, and you get comfortable breathing, having a little water against your nose, then, yeah, you should be fine.
All right, solid. So how much, or not how much would it cost, but let's say we're going to buy some scuba gear, and I want to get it off Craigslist. Is that a good idea? Bad idea?
Oh, yeah, used gear. Scuba diving is not an inexpensive sport, and so we definitely understand you want to kind of build up your gear slowly, or you want to do it in an affordable way. And it is a sport where people get out of it, so they want to sell their used gear. A couple things, warnings about used gears. You want to make sure it's good quality, that it can be serviced. There are some things that just can't be serviced anymore, certain brands that have gone out of business. They're not selling parts anymore. Or maybe it's sometimes cheaper in the long run to go with the new stuff that is under warranty so that you don't have to pay for parts as you go forward each year for the annual service. So there are lots of things to consider. And sometimes, you get like a lemon if you get something used. So
right.
You got to know what you're doing when you're buying used gear. We do have some consignment. Some shops have consignment, but you got to do your research.
So maybe it's a good idea to, once again, go to the dive shop, talk to them, see, because you guys will hook them up with people that are getting rid of their used gear.
Yeah, we will. And, it's... It is best, to get maybe not a used mask.
Okay, so I was just going to ask, like, is there a piece of equipment that you definitely do not want to get used? And
maybe if it's brand new, that's fine. But otherwise,
the mask is like, this is your mask.
You want a good fitting mask, and you don't want to just get it because it was only $5.
Right on. So what else do we want to discuss here? So the booties, the fins, like what?
After that core group of gear, for me, what I recommend to my students, and this is totally just my opinion, and there's definitely instructors out there.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of opinions on this. I recommend getting a computer and a regulator.
Computer, okay.
Dive computer. It's small, it's easy to travel with, and it's really going to give you a lot of information. It'll give you your time, your depth, your no decompression limit. And that's really, those are 3 pieces of critical information that you need while diving. Then also the regulator, it's your life-saving equipment, and it's really life support equipment, and that's really important. So, all regulators work if they're in good, serviceable and all that stuff, but it's like driving, a beater versus driving a Cadillac.
It's something that's good, yes.
Yeah, it's a more comfortable ride.
And you're going to know. You'll
notice the difference.
Yeah, right on. But not the BCD.
BC definitely is a great choice.
Is it BCD or BC?
Oh, either one, yeah.
Okay, all right. But BC,
buoyancy compensator device.
Yeah, okay, right on. Yeah, see, I don't know what's going on. So, what about wetsuits and?
Yeah, absolutely. Wetsuits are a great one. I mean,
so
there's
much equipment.
2 types of divers. This is a joke that has been gone around the industry for a while. 2 types of divers: those that pee in their wetsuits and those that lie about it.
That's the best joke I've ever heard.
So you want to be peeing in your wetsuit.
Oh, okay.
Not a rental.
Okay, and those that lie about it. All right, folks. So there you go.
You need a little incentive to get your own.
Now I've heard like you carry a knife. Like, is that an essential piece of equipment?
That is a pretty basic piece of equipment. There's lots of different types of knife. I personally have a knife and just like a small blade, and then I also have a line cutter, which is actually probably what I use most underwater is to cut fishing line.
Right, because there's a lot of junk down there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of debris.
Yeah, right on. Okay, interesting. So I think we've covered a lot of information here. We're going to come back around to diving fundamentals when it comes to new gear. But this seems to be a pretty good stopping point here, and I think we should maybe hear some more music. What do you think?
Yeah, what are we going to go for?
I think we're going to go with Rio.
Oh.
Duran Duran. I love that song.
Here I am with John Napier in the middle of the woods. What are you about to do, John?
We're just putting together our gear, preparing for a little dive in the mines, and maybe take us about 30 minutes to set everything up and jump in.
I didn't really say who John was. John is a former Olympian bobsledder,
And he's also Sheila Cooley's one of many of her dive buddies, but they do a lot of technical diving together. And our podcast this week is all about equipment. And so there's a lot of specialized equipment when you do cave diving. Is that correct, John?
That's true. We have a common theme that's redundancy. We want to make sure we have enough equipment for not only us, but our buddies in any possible scenarios, because in an overhead diving environment, a cave environment, you do not have the option of just quickly ascending if you have a problem. And so we have to have enough equipment that's reliable and set up in a way that we can easily use it and deploy it in an emergency scenario.
That's a great connection to last week's podcast. We talked about different certifications in scuba, and the two main categories that we focused on were recreational and technical. And recreational, of course, being you got to have immediate access to the surface. So if you have a problem, you can go up.
You can in open water diving, you can just quickly ascend if you have an issue, whereas in cave diving, like I stated earlier, you cannot quickly ascend, and so that's why we have such an emphasis on our gear and equipment. There's a lot more prep time in the technical side of diving, just because you need to make sure this is your life support system, and you need to make sure everything is properly oriented so you can access it and use it with ease.
I noticed you have way different regulators set up than, say, I would use in my open water. You have you got two black ones, whereas I got like a black one and that yellow octopus thing.
This is true. What we do is we have dual tanks, twin tanks on our back. They're connected via a manifold. And so in an emergency scenario, we have a regulator, a second stage regulator coming off of each tank individually. And so in an emergency scenario, you can isolate your tanks and breathe off one tank or the other. Whereas in a normal diving scenario, you only have the option of two regulators off the one tank. Also, the little variation to our gear setup is our backup regulator is hung around a necklace on our neck.
It's called a necklace.
Yeah, so it's of ease of access. So if I were to need it, it's right there. And it's more set up for buddy sharing, whereas our main primary hose we breathe off of is 7 feet long at a minimum, and that is draped around my neck and into my mouth. So if my buddy were to need air, I would donate my long hose, 7-foot hose. That way you can either travel in tandem or single file if you need to through a cave system. And so I would share my primary regulator, and I have my backup right there on my necklace, which never leaves. I know exactly where it is at all times.
You're definitely an Army guy. For sure. You sound like it too, which is good. I mean, that works for me. Definitely. So I'm curious though, how did you even get into this diving stuff, sir?
I was living in Florida for undergraduate degree, and while I was down there, I just was interested in diving, and I started open water diving, and we did a little bit of ocean diving, and I just realized that I said, this is fun, but I'm kind of bored, and so I started.
Only an Olympian, right?
Yeah, I started exploring the technical side, and I remember telling my instructor, I'm never going to do caves, and he took me in a cavern environment, which you can still see daylight, but you're in an overhead environment, and I just remember a weird tickle in my system, and I said, whatever this feeling is, it's for me. And so here I am now jumping in a mine that's 38 degrees, exploring some old tunnels in Vermont in March.
Right, like it's cold outside. It's not horrible. It was 55 degrees yesterday, but it's not super warm out here. And not you dive with Sheila, of course.
Yeah.
which is pretty rad. How did you start doing that? How did you get involved with diving with this maniac Sheila Cooley?
Well, she is a maniac. That's a correct statement. No, she's a great buddy. I actually showed up. There's I guess diving's less popular up in the north than it is down in the south.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know. A little bit colder. You have to be a little more of extreme personality to like it up here.
The tickle in your tummy.
Yeah, that tickle here in the north. So I showed up at the dive shop she works at up in Vermont to get my tanks filled, and I showed up with this tech gear. And she, I remember, looked at me and she said, "Hi, I'm Sheila. Who are you? Where are you diving?" And that kind of worked. And we both talk about cave certifications. We both have some basic cave certifications. So we met up here for our first dive.
Yeah, we did.
Under a year ago. And then since then, we've done a road trip to Florida to go cave diving. I think
we ate a lot of hot dogs, I heard.
Yes. Yeah. We did a lot of camping and diving in Florida in the caves. And
hot dogs and Oreos.
It's the key to not getting decompression sickness.
Is Oreos and
there's absolutely no scientific model behind this, but we're looking to start a spoof one that Oreos drastically reduce your rate of decompression illness while diving.
I wonder if different flavors have different effects though. Like if you have the mint Oreos versus like the birthday cake
cake?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll definitely have to
Yeah,
test
double
that.
stuff.
You know, is it a ratio cookie to cream filling?
Hey, Oreo, Nabisco. Just remember, Diver Debrief. Send checks to diverdebrief@gmail.com. Just saying.
And we would just like to stipulate there's absolutely no science that this is completely BS, but we enjoy it. You know, you gotta have jokes in diving. So
Nice. So I noticed you got a lot of equipment. You're getting set up. You're getting ready to go. As is Sheila. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. And maybe we'll talk to you guys after you do your cave.
Yeah.
This is exciting stuff. So, I know this is the week of 80s music, so maybe I feel like a little Genesis is in order.
Oh, perfect.
Look up on the wall, there on the floor, under the pillow, behind the door. There's a crack in the mirror, somewhere there's a hole in a window pane. Now do you think I'm to blame? Tell me, do you think I'm to blame? You're never there. When you show it, you stop to stare. He's in anywhere.
We're back in Beneath the Sea, and here I am with Ross.
Baronella.
Ross, I can't say his last name. And we're talking about equipment, and he's with Aqualung and Apex, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
And we're talking gear, so what do you have here, Ross, that's new and interesting and fascinating and cool?
Well, one of the big things for Aqualung this year, we're launching our all-new instrumentation line. So we've got the new i450T wireless watch. We've also got our new i550. That's an air-integrated console. And that one really popular at this show. We've got big numbers on that guy. And of course, got a backlight and an optional quick disconnect so that you can take the computer in your house and download your dives without your wet regulator getting everything all all soaked in your computer room there.
Nice, interesting. And what else do we have that's new that Aqualung is coming out with?
Well, one of the other big things at this show, BTS is certainly one of the colder water shows that we do. And so we have our new side mount harness from Apex. That's the WSX 45.
Is this thing with the white fins over here?
Yeah, we've got them displayed with our RK3 white. It's real popular in especially low visibility environments like we get in the Northeast sometimes. You can always see your buddy with
Yeah,
white.
it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, everybody wants to look like a Navy SEAL, dude. Like, Sheila and I were talking about it. We need to see the neon yellow come back, like the 80s style. Bring it back. Orange and stuff, purple.
Yeah, we got a lot of it on the public safety side where visibility is real key. But
Everybody else wants to look like a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, exactly. But man, if you're all black underwater, it's real tough for your buddy to spot you. That's for
Exactly.
sure. And it's actually real funny. We got a ton of photographers using the white fins to set their white balance on their cameras.
Makes sense.
Hey, work smart, not hard.
Yeah, exactly.
So the WSX 45, that side mount wing, one of the neat things about it, a lot of people, especially diving the wrecks off New Jersey, 25 pounds of lift on a side mount was just not enough. So 45 pounds, that's a new one for this year. And we're real excited. Apex is flexibility through modularity. And this one, certainly very modular system. And we've had the chance to kind of think about it and really come out with something very special that divers have really appreciated this week.
So we got the harness, we got the new computer setup thing. Anything else that's new?
The other thing we've been talking a lot about here at the show is our Fusion dry suit line.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I was kind of checking that out earlier. It looks pretty rad.
Yeah, basically the Fusion, it combines the best bits of a wetsuit and a dry suit together. The suit itself keeps you totally dry, but basically it has a stretch layer on the outside of it, so it sucks in the dry suit close to the diver, and it dives a lot more like a wetsuit than a dry suit.
Because it's not as big and bulky?
Exactly. That's very streamlined, and we make it with a variety of outer shells. We have even suits that start as low as $9.99 as well. So obviously, divers looking for a deal here at the show, we're doing pretty well.
Nice. Now, does this require special training? I mean, do you need to be dry suit trained to be using this suit?
Yeah, I mean, generally, anytime you're getting in a new piece of equipment, it's good to get a good amount of training, especially when it's a dry suit. Diving dry is certainly a great part of the sport, but it does require a little bit of extra training.
So don't just go out there and do it.
Yeah, it's something you want to talk to your local dive shop about, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction.
All right. I hope our ichthyologist, Dr. Ellen Marsden, heard that, because she talked about in our last podcast on conservation how maybe she got her dry suit and maybe she didn't quite get trained properly how to do it.
Yeah, definitely a dry suit course is certainly in the cards if you plan on, doing it regularly.
Any other pieces of equipment or gear you want to talk about, Ross?
I think that pretty much covers the highlights for our Beneath the Sea show this weekend. But certainly, check out aqualung.com. We've got tons of information, videos, all kinds of good stuff on the website, and also have a dealer locator. So if any customers out there can punch their zip code in and find their local dive shop.
Excellent. Any other Twitter feeds, Instagrams, Facebooks?
Yeah, check us out. We're Aqualung Divers all over the web, social web, as well as social media across the board.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ross.
It's been a pleasure. You guys enjoy the show.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. I've still commitments while I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long.
Oh, Rick Astley, you beautiful red-headed singing man. I love you so much. I'm never going to give you up, and I'm never going to tell a lie to you.
You're not going to sing for us?
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. No, okay. There's a lot of singing going on in this podcast this week. So, anyways, great podcast, great equipment talks. Ross had some great information from Beneath the Sea, and we have plenty of other interviews to share over the next months. So much information, and we also have other interviews set up from going to Beneath the Sea. What a great expo. I'm really looking forward to going to it next year. But we do need to wrap this podcast up, and I think the best way to do that is to talk about the importance of the local dive shop. Much like when I used to fish when I was a kid, you go to the local tackle shop and you talk to people and you get information and you get your tackle, and you also figure out where the best fishing shops or fishing spots are. The local dive shop, super important, right, Sheila?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're all really busy, and online shopping is really easy and
Super
convenient.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go on Amazon. But there's a local movement in Vermont to
Yes.
to everyone wants to buy local, and that's fantastic. And here's some reason why you should buy local from your dive shop.
Yeah, seriously, what are some good reasons that you got to buy local from your dive shop?
I think the most obvious one is to say fit and comfort. You get to try it on, see what's working for you. You actually get to feel the equipment, put it on your face, try the mask on, try the wetsuit on, whatever it is you're buying.
And I can attest to that from personal experience. Yesterday, I went into the shop and I'm looking at some wetsuits and fins and all this stuff because I'm getting kitted up. And I tried on a wetsuit, and had I not been in the shop to try on the wetsuit and I would have just ordered something online, I would have ordered something else that would have, had good reviews and all that, but it wouldn't have worked for me. And I'm glad that I tried it on in the shop, and I tried on one that I had people give me advice like, that's the one that you want. And I was super happy that I did that. So I totally co-sign on that statement.
I'd say next is you get that knowledgeable staff that we're able to help you. So we really do work hard to know what's up and coming, what works. We try stuff out all the time. So we're trying to stay as informed as possible about all the gear that we're selling.
Nice segue. The knowledge base, totally. And when we went to Beneath the Sea, there was a huge group of people that came from the shop. Instructors, people that work on the equipment, maintenance people. It was quite the crowd. How many people do you think we had?
Yeah, we had about 7 folks come down, and I'd say about 4 of them were working at the shop. So
that's right. And then there were a few folks that were there. I was one of the tag-arounds too. And I mean, it wasn't just the expo. There were also seminars, and there was a lot of academics, and I'm really happy that I got to sit in on some of this stuff. It's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gear-intensive sport. I mean, Vermont, we've got skiing. There's some other things that, and there are folks that we are using this equipment. We're getting our hands on it, and we're really trying to know what's going to work for you, and we can help you make that decision.
So what else about buying online versus buying at the local dive shop?
Well, I'd say we have a great poster in our shop, but it's a computer hooked up to a tank via USB port. But you can't get your air fills online.
You mean I can't just plug it into my computer and fill up my tank with my computer? I can do everything else with my computer.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we're not keeping the doors open with air fills.
Now, there's more to it than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's with the equipment sales and with the instruction that we're able to create this community of divers.
Now, there is a community of divers, but just to go back to my wetsuit, I know that it was mentioned to me that I actually have a warranty on that thing for like 10 years or something on the zipper.
Absolutely.
Henderson offers like this 10-year warranty, but if you buy online...
Yeah, you don't always get those warranties from online distributors.
Or they're limited. Especially like you do Craigslist or something like that. You got no warranties.
No,
You're just getting
definitely.
somebody's stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times the online manufacturers are not, or online distributors are not authorized dealers. So they don't get the same returns and the same warranties that we do at the dive shops.
As my grandfather would say, folks, cheap is cheap, right? Cheap is cheap. So this community, though, so going back to that, thinking of this, it's the clubhouse. It's this place that you go to, you talk diving, you get into it, and it's a community. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we run activities. We're going out and doing charters. We're doing trips, vacations. So it's a hub. It's a center of diving, and that's true at any of your local dive shops. People just come and hang out at the shop.
Right, and so it's not just local diving, which is totally awesome. You get the information. You go, I want to go on Lake Champlain. Go check out all these wrecks, and there are so many historical wrecks too to go check out. Super exciting stuff. But you can also get a crew of people together and head out, go on a trip. You went to Bonaire. Yep. We're going to Key Largo in a month. Hello, so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's we get phone calls all the time. So I'm going to Grand Cayman. What should I know? Or I get an email. I'm going down to Cozumel. Where do you recommend? So we're happy to do that, and we're happy to share the information. And you
share
get
the
all
information,
that.
And then arrange the trip as like a group. And I know that you guys get some pretty good rates too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get those group discounts, and we try to book in advance to take advantage of that.
Get group discounts, making pretty good deals, and it's a win-win for everybody. So, I think we kind of covered this whole topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say really consider buying local when you can.
Yeah, it makes sense. So that's the end. There you go. Support your local shop and get your gear there. So that's kind of the end of this equipment podcast. And for all my friends out there, I would say make sure you have your tanks inspected once a year. Be a good dive buddy and have fun out there.